guys, INEC has finally stopped acknowledging Abure as the Labour Party chairman. This is a very big victory for Peter Obi and all the supporters of Peter Obi. So guys, we all know that we've long awaited for this decision to come, but INEC has been silent. Even Peter Obi themselves, they went to INEC, submitting the Supreme Court ruling, telling INEC to it kind of take its stance on this, because it's been like Peter Obi has his own faction, Abure has his own faction, all these things that have been going on just because INEC was silent. So finally, INEC has now taken a decision indicating that Abure is no longer, the Labour Party chairman, and INEC is citing the decision of the Supreme Court, that they are taking their decision on the basis of what the Supreme Court ruled. And also, INEC also went ahead to reject all the candidates that submitted their form or their intention to run under the Abure-led government or the Abure-led faction of the Labour Party. So guys, this is a very big win for Peter Obi, for the obedient families, and now Abure is asking for peace.
I've said it very clearly that I'm ready to make peace.
You think Peter Obi should come back to the Labour Party, or Peter Obi should still be part and parcel of that coalition that he's already part of? So guys, this is the latest happening, but I tell this is a very big victory for Peter Obi. He has patiently waited for this. I mean, Peter Obi is a man of due process. He didn't want to, hike things. He didn't want to inflame the situation. He just kept quiet, and now finally INEC has taken its stance. And for me, I think this is leadership when it comes to the way Peter Obi handles situations. Some people see it as weakness, but guess what? This is really leadership in display. I'm going to allow you to take a look at this video just for you to affirm what is currently happening. Take your time, watch this video, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Now take a look.
We begin with politics. The Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, has excluded all candidates submitted by Julius Abure and his faction of the Labour Party from the final list of the August 16, 2025 by-elections and the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections. In a firm statement released, INEC clarified that the disqualification stems from the expiration of Abure's tenure as national chairman of the Labour Party on June 8, 2023. The decision is backed by a Supreme Court judgment which declared that Abure and his National Working Committee no longer possess any legal authority to act on behalf of the party. According to INEC, none of the primary elections conducted by the Abure-led faction were monitored by its officials. Now to discuss this, we are joined by a member of the Labour Party, Monday Mawa. Monday, thanks for joining us.
To be here. Good afternoon.
Monday, can you provide clarity on any court judgments that have, affected the leadership structure of the Labour Party in recent months?
Well, I think there are several judgments of the court that has actually affected the leadership of Labour Party. I think the most recent and most important of them all is the one of the Supreme Court, which was delivered recently. And don't forget, the Supreme Court is the apex court in Nigeria. In other words, it is the last court, and any judgment from that emanating from that court is to be respected and complied with by every person, authority throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is the provision of Section 287 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Now that court in that judgment declared unequivocally that Abure is no longer the chairman of Labour Party. And that judgment by itself sacked Abure as the national chairman of Labour Party. And all we have expected all along is that INEC will come up with a position outlining itself with the position of the Supreme Court judgment, because they cannot go outside of that judgment. So I think what INEC has decided to do now is only trying to obey the judgment of the Supreme Court. I don't want to go back to other court judgment. Don't forget, there was a convention organized by Abure and some of his co-travelers in Nnewi in Anambra State. And that convention, INEC was invited, though they did not monitor it. But I'm not saying in any way that INEC monitoring of a convention gives any validity to it or otherwise. They did not monitor it. After that convention, Abure sent his name and those that he purportedly said emanated or emerged from the convention to INEC for recognition. And INEC refused. And when he discovered that INEC refused, he approached the Federal High Court, asking the court to compel INEC to recognize him and those that emerged from the primary. somehow saw what he got judgment from the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja before Justice Omotosho. That judgment was appealed to the Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal also affirmed the judgment of the lower court. Unfortunately, a further appeal to the Supreme Court by nnamdi-led fashion, the Supreme Court set aside the various judgment both from the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and held that the court themselves, they do not have the jurisdiction to dabble into the issue of leadership of Labour Party, and that they were wrong to have confirmed Abure as the national chairman of Labour Party. The Supreme Court thereafter set aside those judgments and declared that Abure is not chairman. And so I think that remains the position of the leadership issue in Labour Party as of today. And I think I've addressed this issue some time ago, that Abure can no longer parade himself as the national chairman of Labour Party in view of the judgment of the Supreme Court.
All right, Mr. Monday. Mr. Monday, let's talk about factionalism now. I mean, what's it looking like? How is the party addressing concerns about factionalism, especially as it affects the electoral preparedness for the by-elections?
Well, unfortunately, this is where we are. The Labour Party now has been divided into various factions. I can't even tell you now for sure that I know the numbers of factions that we have in Labour Party. We have the Apapa-led faction, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the authentic leadership of Labour Party today. Because if you remove the national chairman of a party, the deputy should assume office. And by section 14, sub B, 2, paragraph B of the Labour Party constitution, it says that in the absence of the national chairman, the deputy national chairman takes over. And Alhaji Lamidi Apapa is the deputy national chairman of Labour Party. So we have that Apapa fashion today, which I believe is the valid fashion. Then we also have the one Abure is also dragging, that we call it the Abure fashion. We now also have the Senator nnamdi-led fashion. Don't forget the case I just mentioned earlier on, where the Supreme Court sacked Abure. The case was prosecuted by Senator nnamdi-led fashion. Apart from that, there is another fashion again. And my brother, I can't tell you how many fashion we have for now, but unfortunately, the problem we are now having is that this fashion is every day reducing the importance of the Labour Party. It's reducing the chances of Labour Party to win any election. Now look at what is happening now in the area council election in Abuja. They have removed our names. Because to be sincere, Inec is correct. Abure can no longer validly and legally submit lists to any authority in his capacity as the national chairman of Labour Party. It will be invalid.
Now, Monday, still talking about the internal issues in the Labour Party, can you confirm, or do you think that the Labour Party is considering a reconciliation process, between the factions to, prevent further electoral setbacks?
Yes, I can say that there are moves on the way. And I think a couple of weeks ago, we saw the former vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, person of Senator Dati, who attended a meeting called by Abure and some of his group. And I think in that meeting, was trying to mediate to see how it can bring everybody together. But the problem is this: Abure's insistence that he must be the chairman or nobody else is what is destroying the Labour Party today. And my advice is that we are moving forward now to see how everybody can be brought together. Because without that, we can't live where we are now. And don't forget, what we have now is a political problem. And every political problem, we always need a political solution to redress it. And I think, by God's grace, I think if Peter Obi also, if he does not leave us to go and join the ADC group, if he decides to come in and bring everybody together, I think in no distant time, all of this lingering issue within the party would be resolved. And they will come back again as a stronger party, ready for the 2027 general election.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Monday, for having this conversation with us. And I'm hoping that indeed, the internal issues with the Labour Party will be sorted out so that future elections are not affected what's happening right now with what's happening in the by-elections coming up in Abuja. But thank you so much for having this conversation with us.
It's a pleasure to be here again.
Originally formed in 2002, The Labour Party didn't get its big break till 2007 when Olusegun Mimiko made governorship headways and subsequently became the governor of Ondo State through the courts. Though the party is anchored on a people-centered ideology in view of the logo, which is the image of a man, a woman, and a child, it was best a party on the fringes until the 2023 elections. Having pulled out of the People's Democratic Party in 2022, Mr. Peter Obi joined forces with the Labour Party and instantly became a major force, emerging as the presidential candidate of the party for the 2023 election. Mr. Peter Obi will eventually emerge third in the election, but the party produces a governor and some federal and state lawmakers. However, the party plunged into a leadership crisis. First, the removal of the national chairman, Mr. Julius Abure, who was sacked by his word, and that gave room to Lamidi Apapa, who took over the reins of the party. The Nigeria Labour Congress, who is claiming custody of the party, also kicked against the leadership of Mr. Abure. Eventually, some of the leaders of the party settled for former finance minister, Mrs. nnamdi Usman, as the national chairman of the party. However, this has not settled the crisis in the party.
Today, I'm a Labour Party member, and I remain in Labour Party. But we have all agreed to work in coalition for 2027 election. And for that, we've just adopted ADC. Going on, other parties, other individuals are going to still come in. But it's just like an unveiling, like you used it before, an adoption, which will still go into bringing other people together under the same umbrella and saying, we want better governance for this country.
Just to be clear, because you sat next to Mr. Julius Abure when he read out the resolutions from the Inec meeting, do you agree with him when he described the nnamdi Usman-led interim group as illegal?
I am a peacemaker, and some journalists have very, very heavy terms that they use. I am still on that peace mission. So if I adopt, even if you answer the question you want me to answer it, you are making me to clean out all the efforts I've been on. We're in the process of reconciling a great party that wants to serve Nigeria greatly.
Already, some members of the party have started pitching their tent with other parties, especially the ruling All Progressives Congress.
Senator Darlington Wokocha, the secretary of the NCC.
There have been moves to reconcile the parties, which has led to the setting up of a reconciliation committee.
We did very well, and I could only have imagined that we still could do that solo-wise in 2027 if we don't have all these differences. But at best, to put an icing on the cake, would have been merge the Labour Party to collaborate with another party from the north, because the results from the 2023 election actually had Labour Party winning the whole of South. We were the dominant party in the South. In the recent days, Mr. Senator Dati Ahmed, attended the NEC meeting of the Labour Party. It's a welcome development.
There have been legal battles for the soul of the party, and the judgment of the Supreme Court emphasized that matters relating to party leadership are internal affairs over which the judiciary has no jurisdiction.
The legal implication is that Supreme Court failed to make a definite and unambiguous order. Because we have seen various issues where court will give judgment, and the judgment is not clear. Which particular one does Inec recognize? That's where I now said the legal implication.
Nevertheless, two leaders are laying claim to the chairmanship of the party, despite leaving the door open for reconciliation.
I've said it very clearly that I'm ready to make peace. Political party politics is about compromises. It's also about conflict. It's also about resolution of conflict. And your capacity and your ability to resolve conflict
accept people who have offended you, forgive them, looking at the bigger picture of winning and making the party a ruling party in the country, and ultimately enthroning a leadership in the country that will drive the process of growth and development of the party is key.
Right from the beginning, when I was appointed as the national chairman, I made it public that I wanted us to come back together, work as a team. There is no victor, no vanquish. Let's come together, put our house in order, because together we'll win, but divided, certainly will fall. So I just want to also call on not just Mr. Abure, any other person who feels aggrieved, that please let us come sit together, talk. Congresses will soon start. If there's any position anybody is interested in, they can contest for it.
The leaders of the party are optimistic that these issues will be resolved on time ahead of the 2027 general elections. Two leaders are laying claim to the chairmanship of the party, despite leaving the door open for reconciliation.
I've said it very clearly that I'm ready to make peace. Political party politics is about compromises. It's also about conflict. It's also about resolution of conflict. And your capacity and your ability to resolve conflict, accept people who have offended you, forgive them, looking at the bigger picture of winning and making the party a ruling party in the country, and ultimately enthroning a leadership in the country that will drive the process of growth and development of the party is key.
Right from the beginning, when I was appointed as the national chairman, I made it public that I wanted us to come back together, work as a team. There is no victor, no vanquish. Let's come together, put our house in order, because together we'll win, but divided, certainly will fall. So I just want to also call on not just Mr. Abure, any other person who feels aggrieved, that please let us come sit together, talk. Congresses will soon start. If there's any position anybody is interested in, they can contest for it.
The leaders of the party are optimistic that these issues will be resolved on time ahead of the 2027 general elections.
So guys, finally, you have seen the decision of Inec. Honestly, this is a big win for Peter Obi. This is also a big win for the Obidient family. This is a big win for everybody who is a supporter of the rule of law, everybody who likes due process, anybody who wants to see Nigeria work. See, if Peter Obi was to be one of those top-grade kind of politicians we have, you know, you would have seen him coming out to make insightful statements about Abure and calling Abure names and all those stuff. But Peter Obi decided to wait and patiently waited until this decision was now taken by Inec. So a very big kudos to Peter Obi. He continues to be a role model for the upcoming politicians, for the Nigerian youths, and like making Nigerians to know that, see, it's not by rascality that you are going to change them, because people have accused Peter Obi that he's not that too strong to be able to face the kind of politicians we have in the APC, because Peter Obi is not the bully type, he's not the type that come out to make inflammatory statements and all that. But see, it's a very big lesson for us, you know, showing us that you must not be a rascal, you know, for you to change the political environment in Nigeria. So I'm just wondering what Kenneth Okonkwo is going to say, because he is one of the persons that say he cannot be part of the Labour Party while Abure is still the chairman. Now that Inec has taken this decision and affirming the decision of the Supreme Court, I tell you, possibly Kenneth Okonkwo might want to come back, or except since he has decided to support a northern candidate, he might still want to stick to the coalition. But remember, the coalition is like a coming together of different parties, so you can't even call it a party. The ADC at the moment, you can't really call it a party, because it's just that different political parties came together to form it. So if ADC is successful in 2027, then people can now take it as their permanent party. But if it fails, I believe many of them that went in there might want to go back there. But the question now remains: do you think Peter Obi should remain in the Labour Party? Like Dati Ahmed has said, the Labour Party won big in the last election. Do you think Peter Obi should come back to this party and vie under the Labour Party, or Peter Obi should just stick with the ADC that he has already shown interest in? So guys, this is a very big complicated, you know, situation. Somehow it's tricky, but nevertheless, you know, having people like Abure, Arabambe, Papa and all those in the Labour Party, who knows if they are going to be playing some roles for the APC, you know, like Dino Melai was on channels. He said the current PDP is a department of the APC because they are working for the APC, that the PDP governors are not even showing sign of being opposition. They are all concurring to Tinubu's moves because Tinubu is giving them money. I mean, Tinubu is giving governors money, so you don't expect any of them to work against him. So, but let's see how all this is going to play out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.